feeling tongue-tied when you see your neighbor is not a good feeling. So this video has the humble ambition of changing that. You deserve more than just to be able to say tudo bem when someone asks how you're doing. Also because maybe not everything is fine in your life and you do not wish to lie. But don't worry, I'm not going to teach you how to talk about your ailments in Portuguese. There's actually more interesting neutral ways of answering the question of how you are while being true to yourself. So prepare yourself because I'm about to share 10 ways of asking in a natural way how someone is doing and 10 different ways of replying to that naturally, not textbook style. Because let's face it, not even in English, you would hear someone say, "Hello, how are you? I am fine, thank you." Yet that's how I learned English. I will even add 4 bonus sentences so that you can talk about the weather as well, because usually that's the kind of conversation that follows after you answer how you are doing. Is this what you and perhaps your friends need? Well, then it would really help if you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, so that more people get to see this and stop feeling this big when faced with a question, tudo bem? In case we haven't met, olá, eu sou Catarina. This is the Language Unschool, the place where I help you find your voice in European Portuguese. Let's break the ice with the Portuguese in Portuguese. This one you probably have encountered, but how to answer? Sometimes it feels awkward. Olá, tudo bem? Tudo e contigo. You would say e consigo if you're being formal. If you're being extra formal, maybe at a shop, and you don't know the person's name, you would say e com a senhora. If you're addressing a woman, if you're addressing a man, e com o senhor. E com o senhor. Como vai? This is more formal. Tudo bem can be asked in a formal or informal setting. Como vai is just formal. Vou andando. But perhaps you're with your partner, you're not alone, then you say vamos andando. Okay, the vou andando, vamos andando, means that it's going, we're going, as in we continue our lives. It's not amazing, but I also don't want to tell you all the details about why it's not. Another very interesting option to this reply is vai-se andando. Now, vai-se andando means the same thing, except you're not saying I'm going. It's one is going. So it's very impersonal. So probably the person who asked you is not someone you know very well. So you're really putting a stop there, as in, I politely replied to your question, but I'm not going to be telling you about what's going on in my life. An informal alternative for you, então. Just então, yes, just então. And it can even be shortened to down. So when you ask someone this, you're just asking, how are you doing? Okay, so it's probably the shortest option for you to ask a question in Portuguese. But you can, of course, add something to it, which would be, então, o que é feito? Então, o que é feito? Então, o que é feito? What is made? What is done? And here you could answer many things, but I'm giving you an example. Olha, nem imaginas o que me aconteceu. So if the question is informal, the answer should be informal as well. And olha, look, is informal. We know because of that A at the end. The same way that desculpa, ending with an A, is also informal. If you're being formal towards someone, you should say desculpe. Another informal option for you. O que contas? O que contas? What do you tell? O que contas? Nada de especial. E tu? So again, you don't want to reveal a lot. Maybe not much is going on, nothing you can think of at the moment, and then you just pass the hot potato to the other person. Maybe you don't like talking about yourself. An introvert. Nada de especial. E tu? In case you're wondering why I'm not pronouncing all the words you see on the screen, my No Cinderella European Portuguese Pronunciation Guide, it's free. I'll leave a link in the description. It comes with very useful explanations for how we speak so that you can better understand. And obviously it includes audio. Greeting number 5. Como é que tens estado? This is informal. I'll have a formal version in a minute. So, como é que tens estado? Notice how the tens estado blends into one. Possible answer, muito cansada. Or just cansada. I'm saying cansada because I'm a woman. If I were a man, I would just say cansado. And then I could have added, tenho tido muito trabalho. Now, a more formal version of this would be, olá, bom dia. Como é que tem passado? Como é que tem passado? Como é que tem passado? Tudo a andar. E consigo. Tudo bem? Tudo a andar. I don't stop. It's not 3 words, it's one sound. Tudo a andar. Tudo a andar. E consigo. Tudo bem? The one really good tip when you're starting out, you cannot say yet much in Portuguese, is that you want to be able to say a little bit, ask a question, and then pass the ball to the native speaker so that they talk more and more. Hopefully, there will be chatty people and they will tell all about how they're doing. But if you need to add something about the weather, we just need to cover 4 more expressions and then I'll cover those. Now, imagine this scenario. Formal option. Boa tarde. Olhe, pensei em si ontem. Pensei em si ontem. Pensei em si ontem. Então porquê? Olhe, porque lhe queria perguntar something. Okay, back to informal. Estás bom? If you're talking to a man, because you're saying he's good, so the good needs to be masculine. If you're talking to a woman, asking a woman, you would say estás boa? Just be aware that you might not hear the beginning of the verb. So we might pronounce this as estás bom or estás boa, and the answer, tu e tu. It could well be estou e tu, that's more proper, but a lot of people these days just say tu e tu. Number 9 is back to formal greeting. Tudo bem consigo e com os seus? A gente acha que sim. A gente acha que sim. Okay, last one, and then I'll get into the weather expressions. Bem disposto, if I'm addressing a man. Bem disposta, if I'm addressing a woman. That means, are you in a good mood? And this is an amazing way of greeting someone if you want them to collaborate with you. But it's not very formal, okay? Do not say this at finanças. No, it wouldn't work. No. Reply, claro. You can't say you're not in a good mood if it's semi-formal, right? Okay, bonus. If it's very hot, you could say está bafo que não se aguenta hoje. Or isto está calor de morte. I said tá, not está, notice? Isto está calor de morte. Or isto está calor de morte. If, however, it's more winter weather, cold, rainy, then you might say acho que dão chuva para amanhã. Acho que dão chuva para amanhã. This para becomes para amanhã. And the last one, está frio de rachar aqui em casa. And now a question for you. Olá, como é que andas? Do let me know in the comments. Now that was it for today. Remember that if you couldn't match what you were seeing on the screen with what you were hearing, then my No Cinderella Pronunciation Guide, free guide, should give you some clues. Obrigada por verem e por me ouvirem. Até à próxima!